what you think gave you this victory, knowing full well that your candidate is not new in Ekiti politics. He's been there before. Perhaps let's see if we can draw some comparison with what he's done before to see if that gave him victory in this last election.
Well, a number of factors came together, right? What he did when he was governor, of course, will have been part of it. Whatever reservations the elites may have about him, the fact was he was able to connect with the masses, with the people on the streets, touch their lives, in a way that they are not forgotten.
In what way?
Through his performance in office.
Because it seems vague to me when they say lives are touched in a way they can't forget.
Well, look, I was watching you had something before I came on, when you were speaking to people. There was a woman who was speaking vernacular in Yoruba, and you were translating it. That's a direct evidence and witness of what I'm saying. So there is not a question of vagueness, right?
Okay. Sorry to put in. When you said the media will prepare the minds of the people that elections are rigged, was that the case when Shegoni won at that time for PDP?
Well, you can't compare the two. Fayose is is the most popular politician in Ekiti State. There's no doubt about that.
That is now, not
He has always been.
Then.
He has always been.
But he lost.
You remember
he lost in the Labour while he was flying the flag of the Labour Party in the senatorial election.
Yes, but
and that would have been an easy ride for him, knowing full well that it's about your district, your senatorial district. So if he was that popular then he should have been able to win all of that.
Well, if you know the intricacies of how elections come to be, a party that is in the governance of the state, the governor of a state, right, it has a lot of executive powers, and of course has a very big leverage to ensure that his own candidate wins. I will not use
to ensure.
When he came in 2003.
How does that work?
Patronage, all manner of things. I'm not the one. This is not the situation to tell you. But if you want to ascertain is there is a better precedent you can use, and that was when he won the election. He was a new arrival in the political scene. He joined the politics of Ekiti State in 2002. So he was relatively a newcomer. And then went ahead, won in the primaries, won again in the elections. The one factor that was always playing to his advantage was he was always being underrated. No, even go, the primaries, it was open secret that almost everybody in the party who was influential, wanted another person to win and supported the person. He defeated those people, that person, regardless, and then went on in the same fashion to win the election. Almost the same, this time around was almost a repetition of what happened earlier. So, well, you can call it charisma. Of course, it's also there's this assertion that re-election, incumbents seeking re-elections, those elections tend to be a referendum on the performance of the incumbents.
Yeah, in fact, that should answer to this next question. You should comment on it alongside your next thought. Why do you think the governor lost?
I've mentioned the reasons he lost are the same reasons why Fayose won. Fayose is the most popular politician in Ekiti State. There's nobody who can contest that fact. And see, there's an element of class conflict in also what has happened. You spoke of the elite. The elite in Ekiti State, the people say, yes, they tend to be critical of him. When I speak to them, they're okay.
Do they have a reason? Do they have a valid... Oh, yes, they're bringing some. Do they have a valid reason to be critical?
Well, perception, people have all sorts of perceptions about it, and maybe you can relate to a PhD or whatever that than somebody you think that. But before I was cut off. You sit down in the comfort of your home or office. You criticize somebody. Now, on the day of the election, if you should, maybe you should put your money where your mouth is. Now, you don't go back home or go to tell people that so the people who go to vote, right? They don't share your reservations or whatever about it. So that's what I said. And you see, the fact that some of the elite are skeptical or tend to be very condemnatory of him, I think that's actually what it has worked to his advantage, because it then makes him, to the masses that look, this is our man, this is our champion. Maybe this is the reason they don't like him or complaining about him. That's what I said about but again, see, and that there is a new, a unique development in the politics of the Southwest and Nigeria, and it is, I will call it personality-driven politics, right? Governor Olusegun Mimiko in Ondo State, it was the sheer strength of his own individual, charisma and capacity, that he had become dominant in Ondo State politics. You see the same thing happening here. Fayose is, as I said, I couldn't have seen any other candidate making the kind of impact or getting the degree of victory that he got. So there's that pattern, and again also, it's also making a revelation about Nigerian politics. And this is the fact that the media has a serious job to do in bridging the gap. Because there's apparently a gap.
Okay, all right. Just a minute, just hold your thoughts for a second. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back to continue on this. So just keep your comments and questions coming through. Join us again.